Selamat pagi, selamat datang. Wow. Yang terhormat, Tuan Haji Dato' Saleh bin Mat, Deputy Chairman of the Library Board of Penang and Penang State Assembly. Puan Shukaria Haji Yong, Director of the Penang State Library Corporation. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and friends. Thank you all for honoring us with your presence here this morning at the Penang State Library. And thank you also for the wonderful welcome and the dances and all of you here today. Thank you very much. I am especially happy to be here because this is my second visit to this library. I was very fortunate to be here last year when the Honorable Chief Minister and my boss, the United States Ambassador to Malaysia, Paul Jones, together dedicated the Lincoln Center here in the library. And as was mentioned, this is one of two Lincoln Centers in Penang, in the wonderful library system that you have here in Penang. Today, I want to share with you a story of friendship between our two countries, the United States and Malaysia. For many of you, this is a story that you already know. For some of you, this is a story that is still unfolding. In 1962, the story of the Peace Corps in Malaysia began with a group of 36 Peace Corps volunteers who landed in Kuala Lumpur on a warm, humid afternoon in January. They were young and idealistic, a group of American men and women, burning with energy and a will to learn and to give. Over the next 21 years, thousands more joined them, making the Peace Corps program here in Malaysia one of the largest Peace Corps programs in the world. Most of the volunteers served with the Ministry of Education, while others served in agricultural projects and in the Ministries of Health and Social Welfare, all over this great country. The Peace Corps and Malaysia grew up together. President John Kennedy established the Peace Corps with his very first action as president upon taking office in 1961. When the first batch of American Peace Corps volunteers arrived here in Malaysia in 1962, it wasn't Malaysia, it was Malaya, Sabah, Sarawak. Over the next 20 years, thousands of communities across Malaysia, encounters took place between these young Americans, volunteers, and Malaysians. It became a meeting of thoughts and ideas, connections that reached across cultural, linguistic barriers. Many friendships were made. The photo exhibit that I have the honor of being here today to inaugurate will travel around Malaysia. That exhibit and an anniversary book that we have done are just like the Peace Corps. They're a collaborative effort between Malaysians and Americans to piece together the memories of those encounters throughout this country. They are a record of the sparks of understanding that illuminated hearts and lives, the friendships that were established here. And I'd like to share with you, if you'll let me, an excerpt from a letter written by one of these Peace Corps volunteers, a young American woman, Elizabeth Kunst, to a Form 5 student, Hun Lian Go. She wrote, and I quote, "As my farewell gift to you, I am enclosing 2 flags with my letter. One, your country's. The other, mine. May they serve as a reminder of the days we share, and as a symbol of exchange between Malaysia and the United States, which has been the result of my sojourn here in your country. Yet, somehow I feel that I have received far more than I have given. It is my wish that the flags may, in future years, remind you of the friendship between an American teacher and her Malaysian students." So even though the Peace Corps program in Malaysia ended in 1983, because Malaysia had made so much progress that it was becoming too wealthy to have a Peace Corps program, the friendship and connections that are symbolized by that very heartfelt letter from a young American when she was leaving this country, those friendships continue. Many Peace Corps volunteers even made Malaysia their home. They stayed there. Some continue to work tirelessly to strengthen the connections between Malaysia and the United States. One such person I had the honor to meet at the embassy in Kuala Lumpur, his name was Dan Claffey. Dan was a Peace Corps volunteer based in Sekolah Kemangsang, Seripatanting, in Semarang Raya, here, 30 years ago. He taught math, he taught science, he coached basketball. He served as an interpreter to Americans who married Malaysians that they had met in university. Later, he joined the diplomatic service of the United States, and he worked in the U.S. Embassy in Kuala Lumpur between 2007 and 2010. And as I said, I met him, and he had the most amazing and wonderful stories to tell about his time here in Penang. We are fortunate to have here this morning Tuan Haji Khalid bin Haji Ahmad, President of the Parent-Teacher Association, who will later share with us, I hope, a photo from Daniel's time in Penang in the 1970s. Friends of Malaysia is an association of returned Peace Corps volunteers. It's active in the United States, it's active in Malaysia, contributing to U.S.-Malaysia understanding and fostering community projects even today all across Malaysia. It is perhaps fitting that this year, the 50th anniversary of the Peace Corps in Malaysia, the spirit of the Peace Corps lives on with 50 Fulbright teaching assistants. Like their Peace Corps predecessors 50 years ago, they landed in Kuala Lumpur on a warm, humid January afternoon, January 2012. They went to settle in communities across the states of Terengganu, Pahang, Johor. These young men and women are walking the path of the Peace Corps volunteers of yesterday, establishing new bonds of friendship and mutual respect with their Malaysian students, mentors, friends. Speaking more broadly, it is wonderful for me to say that our people-to-people connections between Malaysia and the United States are more vibrant than ever. Of course, Penang hosts a concentration of companies from the United States who have contributed much to Penang and continue to do so today. And many Penangites continue to seek out the United States as a place of study and university. But I'm also proud that we are building ties in other new areas. For example, earlier this year, Malaysian youth and 3 American football stars bonded over games of football, or soccer as we call it in the United States, here in Penang and Kuala Lumpur. And next month, American and Malaysian dancers, musicians, and photographers will join together at the Georgetown Festival. And this photo exhibit will also be featured then and there. You've been very gracious in inviting me today and to give me an opportunity to speak. And I'd like to end by sharing with you a poem by a former Peace Corps volunteer who served in Kulai, Johor. His name was Bob Wolper, and I'll quote him. This is his poem. Along the road, I have met many, though not all, and I have walked with them, sharing joy and sorrow, living and dying, the long night and burning day of human living. And they have known me. This was a community, and this sharing helped illuminate the darkness, though not all of it. I am still a solitary man, but I have not been alone. Thank you, Malaysia. You will not be forgotten. Thank you for listening, and thank you again for honoring us with your presence today. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera. Good morning. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsan. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lah. Wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma shalli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Bersyukur kita kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala di atas kurniaan kesihatan yang baik untuk kita sama-sama berkumpul pada pagi yang mulia ini sempena Perasmian Karnival Perpustakaan Jom Pakat-Pakat Mai dan perayaan ulang tahun ke-50 Peace Corps Malaysia. Tahniah dan syabas saya ucapkan kepada Puan Syukriah Hadidun, Pengarah Perbadanan Perpustakaan Awam Pulau Pinang, dan seluruh ahli lembaga pengarah perpustakaan dan semua kaki tangan perbadanan yang terlibat dalam menjayakan majlis pada hari ini. Setinggi-tinggi ucapan penghargaan terima kasih juga di atas kesudian disupport di Brown Economic Counselor US Embassy, di atas kesudian beliau untuk mengadakan pameran Peace Corps Malaysia di sini pada hari ini. Thank you. Peace Corps adalah satu program sukarela yang diasaskan oleh Presiden Amerika Syarikat iaitulah Presiden John F. Kennedy pada tahun 1961. Malaysia telah menerima sukarelawan-sukarelawan Peace Corps bermula tahun 1962 hingga 1983. Sukarelawan ini terdiri daripada para pemuda-pemudi lepasan universiti yang memberi perkhidmatan di dalam bidang pertanian, kesihatan, pendidikan, sosial dan kebajikan. Mereka ditugaskan untuk membantu membangunkan Melaya ketika itu, dan setelah 21 tahun Peace Corps dihentikan kerana Malaysia telah membangun dengan pesat, menjadikan bantuan perkhidmatan mereka tidak diperlukan lagi. Walau bagaimanapun, pada Januari 2012, Peace Corps telah kembali ke Malaysia menerusi program English Teaching Assistance ETA. Seramai 50 ETAS telah ditugaskan di negeri Pahang, Terengganu dan Johor dalam usaha membantu kekurangan guru bahasa Inggeris selain meningkatkan persefahaman antara Amerika Syarikat dan juga Malaysia. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang dihormati sekalian, pada hari ini pelbagai aktiviti galakan membaca telah dijalankan sempena Karnival Perpustakaan Jom Pakat-Pakat Mai, seperti pameran pendidikan Institut Pendidikan Tinggi Awam dan juga swasta, pertandingan bercerita untuk para sekolah tahap 1 dan 2 sekolah rendah, pertandingan warna para sekolah Inforis sekolah menengah, dan aktiviti untuk orang kurang upaya penglihatan. Bukan senang untuk memupuk masyarakat membudayakan ilmu, kerana ini bukanlah peranan dan tanggungjawab sesebuah agensi sahaja, tetapi ini merupakan peranan kepada pihak pemimpin masyarakat serta sokongan dari semua pihak. Kerajaan Negeri Pulau Pinang amat menyokong segala usaha yang telah dibuat oleh PPAPP dalam menyemarakkan lagi institusi keilmuan. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, akhir sekali, saya mengucapkan tahniah dan syabas atas usaha gigih yang telah ditunjukkan oleh seluruh kakitangan PPAPP, US Embassy dan semua pihak yang telah bertungkus lumus untuk merealisasikan Majlis Perasmian Karnival Perpustakaan Jom Pakat-Pakat Mai dan perayaan ulang tahun ke-50 Peace Corps Malaysia. Dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, saya merasmikan Karnival Perpustakaan Jom Pakat-Pakat Mai dan perayaan ulang tahun ke-50 Peace Corps Malaysia. Wabillahi taufiq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sekian, terima kasih.